The news just broke of Highguard's impending death, and yeah, Highguard is scheduled to go offline on March 12th.
Oh god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So play the game while you can, or maybe not, because I just reinstalled the game and couldn't find one single match.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
I was sitting in the matchmaking queue for literal minutes before I just said screw it and hopped into the practice firing range to shoot at mannequins. But the game shooting down just seemed like an inevitable fate after about a week or two of this game releasing. Highguard was looking at nearly 100,000 concurrent players on Steam alone when it launched, and now it's sitting at around 500 if it's lucky. A lot of people blame the fact that Highguard was featured as the final reveal of the Game Awards as the reason for its downfall. But honestly, I'm thinking Geoff Keighley was the reason this game made any numbers at all, and he actually gave the game a fighting chance with the player count it did manage to reach. It's just that barely even 1% of them even came back to keep playing. Just imagine if they stealth dropped this game like they originally wanted to. I bet they wouldn't have even broken 10,000 players on Steam. The game just has fundamental issues that probably could have been fixed if the developers had actually sought feedback from the gamers that they're selling the product to in the first place. An alpha test, a beta, something to get people's opinions and take the time needed to implement any much needed changes, because yeah, this game needed changes. I played a few games when it first dropped, but today I was only playing the firing range because almost nobody is playing this game online right now. And even then I was reminded about how solid this game feels at its core. Like there's really a good foundation here with Highguard's shooting mechanics and weapon selection. Even whipping out your horse feels pretty damn smooth. And it sucks that they don't have the player base to keep this game going, but that's what happens when you chase the hero shooter trend that gamers are screaming that they don't want anymore. Imagine if Highguard was a PvE shooter where you defend against waves of enemies while they set up siege equipment to tear your base into literal pieces during an epic invasion, or what if you played as the actual invaders? Just cutting out all of that nonsense where you have to loot around for chests in an empty open field, and just getting straight to the action. What if there was a single player component like a story mode that explains why people riding on horseback and living in castles are using AK-47s and sniper rifles? I mean, I know for a fact that I'd appreciate an explanation for why Ken from Street Fighter is in this game. Then it wouldn't even matter if the game went offline. I could still play the single player and enjoy it regardless, and not feel like I wasted my time and money on it. Because yeah, Highguard is free to play, but there are still people out there who paid for the microtransactions. There was a whole store full of cosmetics for people to buy into, and now the game is getting yanked by its shirt collar and pulled offline. And I haven't heard anything about refunds yet, and that's my general concern for just about any live service or heck, any always online game without an offline component. My entire experience depends on player counts or servers. I can get locked out of the game tomorrow if there's a security breach or maintenance scheduled. I miss the days of being able to pick up a game and knowing that it was yours and not having to worry about the game dying or not having a group of friends because hey, the game has single player. It has bot support. Thank you, have a nice day. And that's the brutal reality of modern gaming. We don't actually own our games anymore. We're just renting server space until some out-of-touch executive in a boardroom decides the profit margins aren't fat enough. Think back to the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3. If you bought a game, you owned the entire disc. If the multiplayer servers died, you could still boot up the campaign or screw around in local co-op. With live service dog water like Highguard, the second they pull the plug, it becomes digital toilet paper. All that genuine effort the developers put into the shooting mechanics, the cool medieval, modern mixing concepts, the surprisingly smooth horseback riding, which honestly I just can't get enough of the horseback riding in this game, gone forever. Just entirely wiped from existence because the suits refuse to let the game exist outside of this predatory, always online ecosystem. And the most insulting part is who actually pays for this. The executives who forced this hero shooter nonsense onto the market are gonna be just fine, but the actual developers who put in the blood, sweat, and tears, they got gutted and laid off just weeks after launch. Like this one dude dude was devastated he got fired because they had so many ideas they wanted to follow up on. And it's cases like these where you can tell like the developers actually cared more about this product than the people who funded them. And then the players who genuinely tried to support the game, the ones who pulled out their credit cards and put real cash into this game's store, they're left holding the hot potato with a dead game and absolutely zero refunds mentioned at the current moment. It's like poetry, really. It's like a cycle that rhymes. They hype up a game, milk gamers, shut it down when it doesn't meet expectations, fire the talent, and moved on to the next one. This is exactly why we need to stop funding these kinds of live service traps. If a game doesn't respect your time, your wallet, or even its own existence, then let it sit in the dumpster. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to not playing Highguard, and I'm sure you will too. This is RageWatch, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.